Supreme motherfucking rise. What's going? What's going? Hope everybody having a wonderful rise. This is like a slight little upgrade to understanding some particular things. Yeah, I know I be in backstroking in the spiritual world and shit. You know what I mean? Be swimming all through the ethers. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I get the opportunity to share some things with you. This is a despite a value, like despite certain situations. So it works like this. This is your new upgrade. And this is majority for the high vibing individuals, for the like I like to say, the ones that stay upstairs. We stay upstairs, you know what I'm saying? Even if they try to drag us down the stairs with all these particular feelings and actions that they take place and beliefs and the way they try to crack the safe open to get you in that energy, you know what I'm saying? Like this right here is a dope upgrade. Let's begin. First and foremost, particularly to the value of the things that are made value on the earth via social media, conversations with people, even your parents sometimes. You better get the bag. These things can be used in certain particular values, and now the standpoint of reality is based off if these things are to come before the actual initial connection with you and someone. This is a entendre in some sense, because it has to have a contrastal value to it, and that contrastal value is come with it up front or there is no connection. And then the opposite is within unconditional love you will receive, because there's no tag on with expression of love should be. So you have those two dynamics. So what tends to happen is that doesn't separate them from how they're being used, though, because keep in mind, as above so below, and the reference of the fraction of how you're being opposed in those two values is resonant here too. It's not what's going on up there is different for you down here. No, you're dealing with as above so below within yourself, meaning you might be right, you might be on some good shit, and then somebody use unconditional love to crack open your heart space. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the right way to do it, but they might not have the right intentions. Or you might have somebody that's so hurt, but they're good on the inside, and they haven't seen yet, because of blockages that they have to heal in themselves. They haven't seen to go back to once they were. So they're more blocked off. They're like, I ain't doing shit for nobody. I don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got some people that's like that, but really at their core, they really good people. They just been hurt a lot, so they still healing. So that takes patience. So you will revere that person as somebody like, nah, I can't deal with them. They got, you know what I'm saying? Like, so you will walk away from the good. And another aspect, a person could have been in high qualities of value, financially stable, whatever, that people want to use as criteria, but they're not there now. So now that person is judged off that, based off that particular reality, right? And then in hindsight also, it can be the person who poses like it doesn't have anything but does, out of fear. And Devon said you get nothing out of fear. So how does this person accumulate so much? Because it doesn't have a spiritual connection. So you get everything in the world tangible. So that kind of charges people to do things indifferent when it comes to negative spiritual energy. It's like you want to use that energy because you're not doing it. It still symbolizes a nothing, because you don't have it in yourself to tap in, because you won't do the discipline. You won't put the work in to do right. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what it feels like to really revel. I'm gonna get to all the deep shit, but I gotta go through this to get to the point. Like, because there's so many attachments that you have to have as realization, understanding. So, do you know what it feels like to normally do something with a level of unconditional love in a non-thought circumstance, like random, and have a feeling come up that you are debating within yourself to the value of if you should or shouldn't because of lack thereof? That right there is saying to you that, despite saying to you that if you do this, you're going to be without, so you want something to gain from doing this, right? Despite doing that, despite having that thought, the translation of that universally is saying that you're unable or won't, literally, you won't sacrifice fully. So then on the other side of that full sacrifice is what you can't see. It's the unknown. So it's what the access to the divine is unknown. It's you don't know what's in there. You don't know how deep it goes, and that bag can be filled off of your knowing that that unknown can replace what you know you can do and have or be. I want to go back to when I said to crack open the heart. Some people have closed their hearts off because of, and I'm one of them. I closed my heart off because of people liking to take advantage of that. Despite the value of me knowing that's truly the access into things, to keep your heart open and ready for it. And I would say that sometimes, like, nah, my heart is open, but I'm open for what I know is for me. I'm not open for the confusion aspect. I don't want to be sitting there thinking, I want to know. You know what I'm saying? So the polarities in between the value of the men and the women speaking on what they want is two different aggressions to a value of security. Being secure in that, instead of going back and forth within the choices and not knowing, like, if I give, like the females, like, if I give myself to this person, will it be normal to them? And then they just say, oh, it's something normal, and then I've given something sacred to them, and then they are not going to be here with me. Females think like that. Deep down inside, they just don't say that. You know, men think, if I be real to this female, is she going to be the one, like, that answers the secret questions that I don't ask myself, the part where I'm afraid, you know what I'm saying, that I don't want to tell nobody I'm afraid or embarrassed about certain things. Will she be able to hold me up? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not that I won't do these things, but will she press the value? Now, I'm not talking about all men. I'm talking about good people. I'm not talking about people who take advantage and shit like that. I'm talking about good people. Because you got to keep in mind, it's a respect level. Just like you had a respect level with your parents taught you discipline. So most men who have that level of discipline, if your mother say, yo, get up, take trash out, you're going to do that. If your wife that you love in consideration to be a person that's bearing your children, and she say, yo, I need you to do X, Y, Z, you're going to do that. Because it's a respect level. It just came from a home training. You know what I'm saying? So certain things that people complain about is because they choose people who don't dwell in home training or understandings of that polarity. You didn't have to have a direct home training to have that knowledge. You could have been watching the Cosby Show and grew up as a person and said, you know what, I'm just going to do the right thing. You could have not had none of those things and chose to do it because you didn't have it and you understood what it felt like not to have it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's so many different polarities that balance out the understanding of where you're going to find out why you're doing the right thing. But if that is not something that people gravitate to, then obviously they're on the other side of the fence. And I don't have to speak to that, you know what I'm saying? Because they're doing things intentionally. That's not something I have to speak to. This is why I'm saying I'm speaking to people who live in high vibrational energies, so-called chosen energies, or whatever you want to call yourself, divine ones, and all that's the essence of divine. However, building the divine tower, it comes from the stability of understanding and the discipline of that which you came from. You know why it's hard to catch fish sometimes? Because some fish just eat what they come from. They eat around the area. And people got to create things that they eat. They got to watch them and study them. They got to create things that they know they might be attracted to so they can throw that in the water and catch them. Back in the day, people used live bait. Nowadays, everybody using lures. And they just snatching fish out the water and throwing them back in. Like, y'all can catch you if I want. I rule you. And it falls down to that basis, to the fact of you are able to be caught. And then that understanding within itself transgresses to the value of what people symbolize as weakness and strength. It's an ego trip. It's something to get you emotional. The control aspect of the reality. Now, let's get into the real vibes. So, it'll be a potential energy, right? This is how you feel gaps in energy. It'll be a potential energy that's taking place. Like, and this is why, this is why meditation and going in nature is super important. This is why it's so important. This is why they started destroying woods and all this shit and jungles and, you know what I'm saying, forests and shit that had natural things growing in it without, like the woods don't need your help. The woods need you to leave it the fuck alone. You know what I'm saying? The jungle needs you to leave it alone. It's going to grow. They're going to grow and they're going to live, but they're going to have their own unison of energy. So when they come through and they take those chains and those bulldogs and they pull all the shit out the ground, they rip it down for farmland. They are breaking the synapses. So within nature, all the other shit is not around. You know what I'm saying? All the extra lighting, the sounds, you get just vibrations of everything living. And when you have so many things that have a small amount of life in them, whether it's the light, no, it is the light. Everything that's living has the light. So they want you to project into the value that nature has, monsters and mythical shit and shit. You don't go in there, you know what I'm saying? But see, the vibration is you got more living things that are not what we want to call domesticated in that type of word, or colonized, or in a form of systematic thinking that live in the woods, and they vibrate naturally on a light level. So when you go into the woods and you go and you plant your feet in the woods, or you hug a tree, or you sit for a while in a spot in the woods and it's silent, just the only thing you hear is nature. You literally snatch all that shit from the system away, and now you're one with you. You start to become in the stream of the natural nature. Now, when you pick that up and you take that with you, and your vibration is high, and you leave the woods, what happens is you get a normal regimen of life, your normal things. You might be about to meet somebody, something good might be about to come to you, and your perception of what good is systematically. These things start to happen, and you automatically, if you're high vibrational, you automatically looking at it both sides. You're looking at it, let's see if it's going to go left, let's see if it's going to go right. You're looking at it like that because you're trying to stay in the middle. So you're looking at these things take place. Now, from that junction, this is where you start using the power or the upgrade. So at first, it's going to be like a plain feeling, or if it's not a plain feeling, it's going to be an enthusiastic, emotional feeling towards the value. This is good and bad. You're going to feel not really hooked to it, that's probably not for you, or you're going to feel like, yo, you know what I'm saying? So you're going to go into it. These two polarities of energies, they're literally veiling your mind. They covering up everything like this. By your acceptance. Keep in mind, you got to spread open to accept. Even if your heart chakra is cut off, the initial step in is the first spread. It's like foreplay. You know what I'm saying? So you start kissing and all that, you know what I'm saying? Then the next thing, and then you get to slide in, right? So you might go through 3 bases or whatever, right? Rubbing on the titties, kissing, you know, whatever. You take the clothes off, and yeah, we getting there. It's that type of energy. So initially, when you meet somebody or you're in a circumstance, all the polarities of normality is right in the front. You don't know what's good and what's bad because it's initial. Right? So as you go through the initial, what takes place is the veil is taking place. Something's being covered over your eyes. It's covering up your spiritual connection because all this tangible shit. But you're going with it. You're going with the flow. Keep in mind, I can change the flow anytime I want to because the flow kind of rolls on tangible shit. Like the water flows on something material. So I can break up the material and make the water flow a different way. You're not watching the destruction, though. It could have took place before you came. You just flowing. You think that's how it is. Right? You think, oh, the smiles is great. You think the intention is good. You think the gifts is beautiful. You know what I'm saying? You think everything is about to go in a direction. But keep in mind, that's how plans work. It's all about the fishing lure. It's like I can throw a fishing lure out there like this. You know what I'm saying? That fish going to be like, that's exactly what I like to eat. That's exactly what I'm looking for. And that become the value. And now you sitting there like, yeah, this might be it. This might be divine sent right here. This right on time. I remember I was just praying about this. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how deep it be. You be like, I just was, yo, this crazy right here. You know what I'm saying? And then you go all in, and now your mind starts to travel. Your mind starts to create. You're giving off this frequency in connection to this new thing. So now what's coming out of you is belief. What's coming out of you is a source of energy that is tangible. It really can start grabbing life and turning time and bending and shaping because of your strong belief with that unconditional love. It's a power divine. It's what they use to create shit. It's how cities and countries and things happen. It's how wars take place. They use your same energy. That's why they come to you every so often and be like, yo, somebody doing this, we're going to war. And you be like, they ain't doing this to our place. And then everybody come together and they sitting out there at the podium, the little dick at the podium, you know what I'm saying? They sitting there, they got the whole 300,000 motherfuckers out there open up like this, you know what I'm saying? They open up, they like, yeah, and then the little pecker at the podium just slide on in with all his words, you know what I'm saying? Like, and everybody like, we accept it. Next thing you know, you done paid for that with your taxpayer money, and everybody going to war and shit. It's that type of juice. You know what I'm saying? Hold on, I want to slide so I can be in the shadow. That's the shadow. The shade. I said the shadow. So me be in the shadow. The lightning came to the shadow to knock out some shit. But I wanted to get in the shade because the sun was blinding me and shit. But and I can't look at the camera like I feel like I'm going like this. But yeah. So it's that type of energy. You know what I'm saying? It's that type of energy. But then everything is being used. It's the lure. You know what I'm saying? It's the allure. You know what I'm saying? To the value. And for the most part, you don't see that when you're initially going through the practices or the transmutation of bringing your energy to a connection. You don't see none of that. You're not looking for none of that. You're not in survival mode. You know what I'm saying? Like you're in, oh shit, this is great for me mode. Let me, you know what I'm saying? Let me get ready. Let me do this. This is what I've been waiting for. It's been a while type. You know what I'm saying? Like you're ready on that type time. So you're not thinking about everything else. You're not like, yo, I gotta be on guard or something like that. And then you are, but you like, if I'm on guard too much, I may lose this opportunity, right? So then this is what they mean by heavy discernment, when you got to master your discernment. So now what takes place, right? There might be people outside of that, you know what I'm saying, that might agitate the energy. Now, keep in mind, the person that you're dealing with might not know that they're being used to, because they might have weaknesses in the energy. They may believe that they right in the right spot. And the energy's like, yeah, you've been cooking for a minute. We're going to test you because you say you like this. So energy like, yo, you perfect for us to use to send to this person, to get this person to open up as a key. And then we'll get you to turn back later because you weak as shit. I could use you. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's how the energies work. So it might be that individual with another individual, a third party. That's why they be like third party individuals. So they may use 2, 3 people, 4 people. They may use the intention value. Now keep in mind, the intention value of one energy can be multiplied as long as I got everybody feeling the same thing. So they don't even have to be a part of the situation. I just got to have all of them hating you at the same time. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then have 2 people actually initially. That's like the head of the arrow. And then the energy is like the actual arrow itself. You know what I'm saying? So it's like when I send the head in, it's forced or it's potential based or charged by other people that I have seeded with this energy against you. So then what happens is you be sitting there, you're the other party. You're the one that don't know none of this stuff. You know what I'm saying? You like, yeah, this is a good opportunity, da. So you sitting there, and while you sitting there getting involved in a situation, what takes place is you'll start random, because keep in mind, you meditated. You went into the woods, like this is what you do normally. You go, you know what I'm saying? You on that type of time, so you don't really be thinking about shit like that. You don't be like connecting to people or whatever out of the blue. Like you don't talk to nobody. Like your random thoughts is not nothing of individuals because you're not in the system, right? So what happened is when you start connecting to something new, this is the power. I'm leading you right to it, step by step, right? This is the power right here. So what happened is you be dealing with a situation and then a random person face will pop up out of nowhere. And you be like, yo, I thought about that person while I'm having this conversation with this person. You know what I'm saying? It'll be a flash, or you'll have a dream and somebody will pop up that you ain't thought about. You know what I'm saying? Or you can be deep in another conversation with somebody else talking about something particular to the value of what you're dealing with at the current moment with the person. You might be excited, you know what I'm saying, because it's good. And then what happens is another face will pop up. You know what I'm saying? You be like, yo, why that's, or you'll see. Look at the damn rabbit over there. You know, because I got a farm, right? You know what I'm saying? Not a farm, not a big one, but I grow some veggies and shit. And I just seen a rabbit running his ass up the damn trail right there. I'm gonna watch and see if he go over there. I can see when he jumped in the woods though. I'm hoping he don't try to go jump over the fence because shit been growing nice. Anyway, anyway, so that's what happens with that's how the power works. So you'll be, you know, in the situation some type of way. You know what I'm saying? And you're not even thinking about nobody, a random person that you may know or don't know. And when you don't know them, it's hard for your mind to actually equate the visual of what they are. You can't really see them because it'll come in different. You'll be like, what the fuck was that? And that'll be the person outside of the situation that you don't know. But how you clear that up is just by stealing yourself. Like, you have to steal yourself. But you got to keep in mind your energy is speeding up because you're starting to deal with a circumstance. That's pulling you out of nature. That's the system re-downloading itself into you. So the other faces, they're probably connected to the face you don't see. You know what I'm saying? Like, and they're all working together in that cohesiveness of believing the particular energy that they're in against you at the current moment. So they're all on that same wavelength. And you'll see it. You know what I'm saying? You'll be like, yo, well, I'm thinking about so-and-so. And you might even run into them and be like, yo, that's my homeboy. I was just thinking about you earlier. You don't know why you was thinking about them. But you seen them because Divine saw it fit for you to see who is dealing with or playing in your energy. But you wasn't cognizant of it. You didn't think about the new things you had going on. You didn't think about, you know what I'm saying, people that might have slight hate for you. You didn't think about jealousy and stuff like that. That's not something that's relevant. Right now, you just happy. And that's what happens with people. You too busy in one energy. The polarity is so right. It's intoxicating. It's addicting. So you'll be like, yo, I just feel good. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's when good can be bad for you. When it's so good, you don't want to see nothing else. But then this how you know the person really right for you, because they gonna notice this energy too. And instead of them being passive aggressive about it, they're gonna be willing to protect you. They're gonna say things. They're gonna do things. Like, y'all gonna pray together. That's why praying together was important. You will pray together, you stay together. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna hurt that person to hear them, like, really hurt them. They're not gonna put things off. They're not gonna make excuses. They're gonna do everything that they say they're gonna do. You know what I'm saying? Even if they're unsure, they'll walk right up to the unsurety and be like, I had to see for myself because this is something I truly believe in. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how you know somebody really, really for you. Like, they not just gonna run away, and they can't be manipulated to run away. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody can come to them and do something. They can't have somebody outside of you. When it's for you, they're going to fall in line. Instantly, that's how you know it's for you. But your powers is going to be your insight. And that normally comes on your first thought. That's why I be ringing like that. But you'll think it's people that want to hang out with you or something like that. Yo, I was just thinking about son. Yo, I was thinking about so-and-so. It ain't even none of that. That's them thinking about you. That's them in your signature. That's them in your energy. That's why it's projecting to you. Your energy be so strong when you connect to nature is that you are part of the ley lines of the earth. So now that you are part of the energy frequency of the earth and you come out of the woods, anything that jumps into your frequency, it shows like a picture. Because keep in mind, they're part of the system. So whenever they think about you or they play in your energy, it literally goes through nature to find what it's connecting to. So it's more like a visual that comes through like a sign, like because that's how still you are. You so in nature to where it's like, you like, yo, they came through. Because they're a part of the system. Keep in mind, the system stays spinning. It stay going. Time stay going in the system. But when you're a part of nature, none of that exists. You're a part of you with the divine. Divine said, know me by my creation. So there you go. That's something to put in your pocket real quick. You know what I'm saying? If you want to watch it again, watch it again. You already know the vibes. You know what I'm saying? If my knowledge help you, information will be in the description. You know what I'm saying? Leave a like, comment, subscribe. Share this with somebody who be on that high vibrational vibe or you think need to understand something that they don't see right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, you already know the vibes. I'm Naga the Wise.